All right, so this is going to be lab 7-7. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. We can get started. So I've already got my UARC server open, and I'll go ahead and open Tablet. Okay, so now we'll load from Microsoft SQL Server. So we already have our server and database typed. Sign in. All right, so now we have our data loaded. So next we can drag in transact. Okay, so now we can click open, drag in store. Now we have an inner join. What we want to do next is change it to a right outer. Okay, so now we have a right outer between transact and store. So now create this new worksheet and rename it to cluster transactions. Okay, so now we can start messing with our data. We'll go ahead and drag transaction ID to columns. Make sure you cancel that because that'll take like 10 minutes. And then we'll drop down this here, measure. And then we'll click count. All right, so next, we can go ahead and drag tran amount. Okay, tran amount to rows. And we'll go ahead and let that one load. Hopefully that one doesn't take too long. Okay. Perfect. We'll drop down that measure, change it to average. Then we'll let that load. All right, so now we have our average transaction amount and then count of transactions D. So basically we're trying to identify the well-performing stores. So next we can drag store to color. So we want to show store by color. And then that should take a second. All right. So now we have our cluster here. We can go ahead and exclude this outlier because we don't need it in our data. All right, so now that we have this, we can go ahead and click on analytics. And then we'll go ahead and drag cluster in here. And then we want to do cluster of 8. And then I guess we just click X. Okay. So now we have clusters of 8 here. So as you can see, we have 4 low performing stores, and then the rest of them are kind of sporadically placed here. So this is how we can see which ones are doing well and then which ones are doing poorly. All right, so now we can go ahead and create a new worksheet. Let's rename it to sales by month. Okay, so now we'll drag our trend mount to columns. We'll drag store to rows. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. Okay, and then we'll drag, let's see, trend date to rows as well. And then that automatically goes to year versus month or day. Okay, so now we have this type of visual. So under marks, we want to go ahead and click bar to see it this way. Now we can see all 3 years, and then the bar chart over here, and then which store. All right, so now we can go ahead and drag trend date to color. So now we have the year color coded here. So it's just a neat little visual. Okay, and then they want us to drop down this, make sure it's on discrete, and then change this to month May. And then let that load. Hopefully it doesn't take too much longer. All right. Oh. Oops. Okay. Well, let's see if I can undo that. Okay. Well, you can. Obviously keep only or go back to the original data. I accidentally just clicked keep only. So now we're only seeing this one, but of course you could go back to the full data. So let's see if we can do. Okay. So now we'll again drop down here and then sort from descending order. Okay, so now we have our data the way we want it. So we can drag trend date into label, automatically goes to year. Okay. So now we can drag store to filters. Not sure. If that works. Okay. And then we can click OK. All right, and then we can go ahead and drag tran date into filters as well. Years, next. And then OK. All right. And then we want to go ahead and make sure this is above store. All right. So now we'll drop down store. Edit. We'll check none. And then they want us to check specifically 405 716 743 760 768 775 and 796. And then I believe we can hit OK. All right. So now we have our data looking like this with our colors. So next, we can go ahead and drag this away. We don't need that. So now we have it without that label. So it looks a little cleaner. Okay, so next we can go ahead and drop down here. We'll click edit, and then we just want to compare 2014 and 2015. So let's see just those years. Okay, so now it's showing us just the years 2014, 2015. And then if we wanted to, we could again click edit and then show 2015 versus 2016. So it's just a different way of showing different years. All right. So now yeah, so this data is basically just showing the store's progress or performance month by month. And then obviously each month is color coded, January being blue, February orange, and then so on. So again, just a way of displaying data. So now we can go back to our data source. We'll go ahead and double click SKU and department. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and change, they want us to change these to left outers. Left outer joints. And that's what that indicates. So now we can create our new worksheet. We'll go ahead and rename it to sales by department. All right, so now we can drag our tran amount to two things. We'll bring it drag it to size first. And then we'll also drag it to color. All right, so now we can go ahead and drag in. So this is what we want up here. We want department set, this one. Okay, we'll drag that one into label. Hopefully that won't take too long. All right, perfect. So now what we want to do is create a hierarchy. So we want to drag department description onto this one here. I believe this name would be okay. Okay, so now here it is down here. Here's our hierarchy. So to display it, we can just click this plus. And then that should load. Perfect. All right. So now we can see with this data that the lease sales tax is the highest based on our TRAN amount. And then these are the next runner-ups. So you can see once you hover over each, it'll tell you the TRAN amount. So yeah, again, it's just a neat way of displaying data. Specifically, this is for Dillard's. Okay, so I believe that concludes lab 7-7. And that is working with advanced Tableau. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing. And thank you so much.